2015, I lost a good friend of mine. His name was Mr. Mike Coons. He had a really bad crash on Interstate 64. Built a cross for Mike for the world to see. And I went down the interstate and I passed where Mike's cross should have been. It wasn't there. And it was like, what the heck? Maybe it has fallen down. So I'm gonna go out on the interstate today and I'm gonna check it out, see if I can't repair it. Hopefully it's there. I might actually take it back to the cabin, paint it up, put a fresh coat of paint on it. Mrs. Melissa said that she would like to help me do that. I was always amazed how this guy knew everything about everything. I mean, he was like a walking encyclopedia. We were buyers, so we went to Fort Worth, Texas, to the big outdoor shows. We went to the big gun show in Vegas. I really enjoyed having Mike's company. We laughed, we talked. It was just such a good time. Mike was 65 when he died. He was really having a bad headache and that he was going to try to make it home. And I got a feeling he probably either had a stroke, he may have passed out, but he literally went off the interstate, you know, probably 65, 70 miles an hour, down into a ditch, slammed into a concrete culvert. Okay, this is Interstate 64, and we are heading west towards St. Louis. Right here, Mike went off the road and went down that deep ditch and then slammed into a drain culvert right here. So Mike's cross is around here somewhere, but I'm going to walk you down and show you this drain culvert. Oh no, there's his cross. Oh man. There it is right there. Okay. So Mike took a pretty hard hit. His truck come flying down this ditch right here and slammed right into this drain culvert. And the drain culvert is actually, the inside of it is concrete, so it's a solid mass. So Mike ended up hitting pretty hard. They took him to the hospital. His chances of survival were very, very slim. Now there's one thing that I've learned about when you put a cross out on an interstate highway or a regular state highway, is people really respect them. And I think that's pretty cool. You know, I guess the highway workers, sometimes they have to mow around them. You know, it might be a pain. Maybe some people don't like seeing them out on the road, but very rarely do you ever see one of them get torn down. Now, in a case of Mike's cross right here, to me, somebody was very respectful. They could have taken this cross, and you can see it obviously broke at the top up here. They could have took it, and they could have just thrown it over here in the ditch or threw it in the trash can. But instead, they put it right here, right at the place where Mike had his crash. So I'm going to take the cross with me, take it back home, make it look a lot better, make it a lot stronger, bring it out on the highway. This cross has been out here for 7 years, so a lot of people go up and down Interstate 64. It is one of the main arteries in the United States of America, and a lot of people know this cross. Help me, we're going to get it put back out here, so stay tuned. Yeah, you can kind of see there was a little bit of a flaw in the design when I put it together, and these pieces right here eventually just gave way. This DH Royale, Mike was a big 6-gun shooter. He's a champion, and that was his cowboy name. All right, well, you can see this is a busy highway right here, Interstate 64. So this time we're definitely gonna make it out of treated wood. What I decided to do is go ahead and build Mike's new cross, 4x4 treated lumber. It's going to be a lot stronger that way. Now this is refurbished lumber. I got this from a building I tore down a lot of years ago, and actually they were painted green at one time. They were actually holding up a shed. I'll probably end up painting over the top of that, but I think a 4x4 is going to hold up pretty good. It's hot today. Heat index about 110 degrees. Oh, look at this guy. Holy smacky. Oh boy. Oh boy. That's not a friendly fellow right there. You know, growing up we used to call these cow killers. And I mean, they put a heck of a sting on you if they bite you. I'm just going to use a regular skill saw today for this project. Where the good wood started, the top piece that was kind of broke off a little bit, and you can see it's kind of split right here. This would be a good point to start. As you mark a line, and then you turn it one way, and you connect that dot right here, and you bring that line over. Now go ahead and flip it this way and connect this dot right there where that line came across, and you make a line. Now by the time you turn it all the way around, you should be able to put your square on there, and both dots should come pretty close. Sometimes they're not exact, but pretty close. And you go ahead and mark your line. It's a very dangerous cut. If you're not experienced with saws, please don't try this. Have somebody that works with saws help you. Okay, as always, it's important to have eye protection, ear protection, and it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to have a mask. 110 degrees and humidity at 80%. If I try to put a mask on, it fogs my glasses, which I think is even more of a dangerous situation. I'm going to go without a mask. Not a whole lot of sawdust on this project. If you get the chance and you're working indoor in a more climate control, you always want to wear a mask. So this first cut right here, what I'll do is I'll cut through before I take the saw out. The saw has stopped turning before you lift it out of there. That is real important. Make sure your saw has stopped turning before you pick it off the piece of wood. Alright, we'll flip it over to this side. There we go. That's a nice clean cut. Now we're going to flip it over and do the same on the other side. Alright, let's cut through on this one. I'm going to make this top piece 18 inches. 18 from the top to the top of the horizontal piece I'm going to put. At this point right here, it's just a matter of kind of looking at it, kind of envisioning how long it's going to be in the ground. I think I want to try, if that's 18 to the top, I think I want to go 18 to the center. Now if I get it all said and done, and I think this top piece looks a little bit too long, I can always cut it. So I've got my vertical piece laid out. I got my horizontal piece laid out. It's going to go on there just like this. So now the big question is, how am I going to get these two to mesh together, for these two to work right? On this horizontal piece, I'm actually going to cut in half the width with a series of cuts and chisel it out. Vertical piece, I'll do the exact same on this side. They will both sandwich together. In order to know how far down I can cut, I'll show you a trick on how I'll set myself. What I'm getting ready to show you, what's vitally important. Now let me repeat that. Vitally important is that you unplug your saw first. Or if you've got a battery operated saw, take the battery out, because what you're getting ready to do, there can be no mistake whatsoever, because if there is, you're going to lose some of your fingers. It's not going to be good. Once you got your saw unplugged, take it like this. Alright? And when you open that blade, you push the guard up, and what I want to do is I want to cut down 1 3/4 inches. Hello, Jazz. So what I'll do, mine has a little lever here on, bring this guide up and down. So I'm going to set the guide for 1 3/4 inches. I'll measure that right there. Try, that measures 1 3/4 inches. And I lock it in right there. So from this guide to these teeth, it's 1 3/4. As I cut through here, I'll make a series of cuts, and then I'll come back with a chisel and chisel it out. I'll do it on both pieces of wood. They should sandwich nicely together. It's not a bad idea to go ahead and check it on your first cut. 1 3/4 inches. Okay, when you get that all cut out, it should look something just like that right there. And you can see the saw will hold the 1 3/4 depth all the way down through there. And I'll chisel those out, and then I'll do the same to the vertical piece. Okay, you can kind of see how those come out, just like that right there. Flip it around. Do the same on the other side. Of course, you don't have to hit it very hard on this side because they're pretty well gone. But that's a surefire way to notch something out. Now, just like everything else, there's all different kind of ways that you can do this. That's the way I've always kind of notched something out, and it works pretty good for me. There we go. That's how that's going to fit on there. So there's my 2 lines there. Now I'm just going to go through and notch this piece just like I did that piece right there. Took my square and I went ahead and squared it up right here, and that's it's got a few little places on it right here, but that's okay. It's a little bit rough and tumble, but Mike was a rough and tumble guy himself. He probably appreciates that. One thing I noticed being out there on the highway, man, stuff takes a lot of abuse. When the snow plows come through, and by the time they get to the emergency lane, it's almost all ice, like a wave of ice that's rolling off, and if it crosses too close to the road, it'll just wipe it out every time. And also, you don't want to get in the way of the mowing crews. You want the mowing crews to be able to come by and not have to get out and go around and get out on the road to avoid the cross, which could cause an accident in itself. Okay, I think that turned out to be a pretty nice cross right there. Once again, I'll probably put it in the ground at least 18 inches, probably. Okay, I got Mike's cross all completed. Take it out on the highway this morning for the rest of the world to be passing by to remember Mike. Mike was a good friend, and I'm glad to do this for him. So if you want to come along, let's go on out there and set it up. Interstate right now. Going to go ahead and get things ready. Going to prep the site up just a little bit, and then I'm going to put Mike's cross. Mike's cross turned out pretty good. Pretty happy with it. So let's go ahead and get this baby put in place. Okay, so there we go. It's always an honor to honor a friend. Mike was a great guy, and we sure all miss him an awful lot. Thanks a lot, Mike, for being a good friend. That cross ought to last quite a while now for all the interstate traffic to see. Mike always kind of liked being famous. He was a famous cowboy shooter. Bang, bang. Bang, bang. All right, Mike. Rest in peace, buddy. I custom made that to make it look like Mike's sheriff's badge you used to wear at work. This is where Mike took the big hit, right into that cul-de-sac. DH Royale, Cowboy Championship Shooter. Peace, brother. It always feels good to take time out of your life to do something for someone else. Yeah, Mike would have liked my YouTube channel, and I probably would have done quite a few videos with him on cowboy shooting, hunting, all kind of things. Mike was just an absolute expert at it. I do appreciate you coming to the channel. It's LAF Space Film Fest. That's capital LAF Space Film Fest. Hey, if you would, hammer down that subscribe button. I appreciate it. Helps me to do things like this, put little videos out into the world like this, honor Mike and everyone else that has fallen along the interstate highways.
He wants to get the deer on film. He don't want himself on film. I'm probably the worst photogenically inclined person in the world.
And you have a good day.